Hey, what up? It's Slacker Scott.
Not lazy, not cheap, efficient and thrifty.
In this video, I am calling It's Your Tiny. You can C+ carpentry if you want to. If you're watching this and you at all have aspirations of being a DIY tiny house builder, you want to build your own house for yourself, you need to do it. And I think one of the things that stops up a lot of people from going for it is thinking that they need to be a fantastic carpenter or thinking that they need to be perfect. Because when you see videos, they look perfect. So the first stop on the C+ carpentry tour is checking out these tiles here. I did not want to spend the money to buy a tile hole saw, so I broke them and then put them back together again. And that is a very C+ slacker move. You might have seen my tiny house tour video, and if you haven't, check it out there. And you might think that that house looks perfect and, you know, it's an A+. I think it is kind of an A+, but there are several things that are C+ about it that I have left that way because it's okay for me and it doesn't bother me, and I would rather not spend the time or not spend the money to make them A+. Probably once a week I see this screw that is sticking up from my sink and notice it and have yet to, you know, file it down or unscrew it, and it just hasn't been a problem so far. My dad has a phrase that I love, and it's, I can't see it from my house. Is the extra, you know, $100 for nicer trim gonna matter to you? Maybe not. Will the extra hour it'll take to fix a silly problem matter? Who knows? It's your house. If it's not gonna bug you, you know, good on ya. When I was installing the sink, I couldn't quite get it like exactly right here. And so you can see that it's sticking up a tiny bit there. So you might be watching this and you might be thinking to yourself, I don't have carpentry skills. I don't know where to start. I don't think I'm going to do it perfectly. And good news is no one does it perfectly. C+ kitchen thing is turning out to be the concrete countertop. I thought this element was going bad, and so I went to go pop it off. And when I did pull it up from the bottom, it sent all these cracks through it, and I pieced them together. And I actually thought that I was going to end up replacing this. I bought some like concrete filler, but I kind of like it now, and it hasn't bothered me. So we're sticking with it. The basic needs of humans are what? Food, water, and shelter. Probably love and community is in there, but shelter's a big one, you know, and that's what your tiny house is. It is shelter. When you live in a standard residential house, there's a lot of things that you don't have to think of for shelter. And when you live in a tiny house, you start to think of them. One of the things that I think is beautiful about that is that you get back to this essence of what is shelter and what do I need from a bare minimum. One, you need to stay warm, and two, you need to stay dry. So if you can build a tiny house that is insulated and waterproof, you can build a tiny house. And your carpentry skills, you can get better along the way. You can fix it along the way. It might not be perfect to start with, and then you can change it. But if you can stay dry and stay warm, you will have a great build. So I want you to go for it, do it, and I want to encourage you that you have what it takes to do it. Over here on the window, I know that I cut this piece of trim a little bit too short, and if I wanted to fix it, I was going to have to go buy more trim, and so I just left it. So our big needs for shelter are staying dry and staying warm. But I think a third one is living in a beautiful space. I don't think this used to be as much of a need, but as we have progressed and built better and better structures and gotten more comfortable in our modern living accommodations, I think this one is one that we expect and we need, and I think contributes a lot to our mental health. And one of the things I love about my tiny house is that I can perfect 246 square feet. I can't perfect 3,000 square feet, which is what my old house was. When I was moving to California, we had this issue where it hit the box truck we were towing it with. And, you know, I thought about replacing all this, but decided just to, you know, patch it the best I could. And I do not notice it most of the time. Building your own tiny house is one of the most fun things that you'll ever do. You'll feel so proud. And yeah, getting up to those top levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You'll get your basement needs met of water and shelter, and then you'll work your way up all the way to that self-actualization of feeling so proud of this project that you took over. Here on the other side, you can see a little bit more of that damage from it hitting the box truck we were towing with. If you can build a tiny house that you love and cherish, that works well for you and meets your needs for shelter, your whole lifestyle is going to change because of the cost associated and the cost savings associated with tiny living. And so you should 100% go for it and build your own DIY tiny house. You can kind of see here how this warps in or bends in right above the wall. And the reason why is that I did not want to go and get a piece of OSB for my header. If you want to build your own tiny house and the construction part of it is daunting and the design part of it is daunting, I have plans for the Slacker 27 Special that are framing plans, so every length of board that you need to cut, as well as blueprints and floor plans, so that you can easily assemble your own Slacker 27 Special design. And you can find those below in the description. So every board in the ceiling has the little divot from my nail gun. And if you need a little coaching, you need a little help along the way, I also have coaching calls available there. Whether you want encouragement, helps tweaking your design, you just want to do a Q&A, whatever it is, I want to support you to get into your own DIY tiny house, because it is my favorite thing I've ever done, and I think it's going to be one of your favorite things you've ever done too. I use little screws to attach the faces to all these drawers, and I definitely did not go in and take the time to fill in the screw heads. If you're watching this, I know you've seen a bajillion tiny house tour videos, and I want you to start to take the next step from watching the video to doing it in real life if that is your dream. And I hope today that this video has encouraged you that C+ carpentry is okay, and that you can do C+ carpentry. You can make something that's warm and that's dry, and you can live in it and enjoy it. The screw head thing is kind of a big pattern for me. This is all finish work, but that's okay. You can kind of see here on these boards chipping. I did not use cabinet grade plywood for these drawers, and that was okay for me. Even if the tiny step we took today is that you are questioning your thought that you can't build your own tiny house, I'm excited about that, and I want to stay in touch and further encourage you to take the steps to your dream that you've been dreaming of. Over here in this corner of the bed, I forgot to have a board that piece could attach to, and so it sticks out a little bit. See, you probably saw the tour video and didn't notice any of these C+ things. And the point I'm making is not that I tricked you. Really, I tricked myself. I don't see them anymore either. It's just that your level of comfortability with your build is all that matters. So really, don't worry about the haters. Don't worry about the rest of the people on the internet. Don't worry about your neighbors. Do what works for you and get it done, because you totally can. Thank you so much for watching. There will be more tiny house content and videos. Leave a comment down below. I try and reply to every single one of them, and I would love to answer your questions.